returns, which is returns in. Then we have opening stock purchases, and we have to take away our returns out first to get our real purchases figure. And we have a carriage in, and we have an opening stock. We add the three of them together, and that gives us a number called goods available. So opening stock plus the real purchases figure plus the carriage in. And our closing stock we'll take away, and that goes in the right-hand column. This gives us the cost of goods sold. And we take away the cost of goods sold from the real sales figure, and that gives us closing stock. Okay. There's a delay as it goes through. That's all. Okay. So then we have other income. So we have discount received. Okay. So that's that. So we add our other incomes onto our gross profit, and that gives us a new total, and we'll take the expenses away from that. Can we just check that first as you go through it? Are you happy with the numbers you have there so far?
Tuesday.
Hey, guy.
Come around.
Have we started?
Don't get too big to lose.
Turn around.
Yeah.
So I genuinely don't think you said it. Show them their main up.
That one's asking now, and you.
I know, yeah. Stop. Big gas truck and all the boys. Yeah. I know, it's should be both.
No, yeah, hey, where's David? What do we say?
Yeah, don't tell me your comment.
Okay, can we go through the rest of these? So it's going to go down as far as net profit, then I'm going to just deal with the higher level for a second. So what we'll do here with these is, I'm going to leave them there for now, I'll let you do them. You add up all of your expenses, so you'll have a distribution, you have a total number will go there for distribution expenses. You'll have general expenses, total will go there for general expenses, and a total will go here for financial expenses. And then you'll add your three totals together to get an overall total expense which goes there. And you subtract this number from the figure above. Okay, I'll leave that there for you to do, and I'll come back and do it then for you a second, okay? Higher level, can we just start into this? Okay, quickly run through the numbers, or?
I don't think you'll be able to.
Yeah, you never call something
Okay, well then, so what the idea of this is question 4. What we're going to do, remember what we did the last one, right? We took all the numbers to the trial balance, okay? We put all the numbers in, and then we balanced it. Make sure that our balance sheet totals the same, okay? Then what we did is we went and looked at the expenses, or the adjustments. We'll put the adjustments in, but I didn't ask you to rebalance your balance sheet. Obviously in the exam we will. Now what we're going to do now is, and this is going to be the last question you're going to do before we move on to revise notes. We're going to start by taking all the numbers from the question and putting it into your structure. So you have a structure, a blank structure there ready for question 4. If you haven't, put that together now. Take all the numbers from 12 on, put them in. Don't add up, don't do any math. Next thing you'll do is you want to do your adjustments. And this we'll do in class the next day. So we'll change our numbers a bit like what we did in red, if you remember the last day. Okay, put our adjustments in, and then we'll balance it at the end. Is that okay? Stage 1, which I want you to start now and try and get done for homework, is lay your blank structure, take all the numbers from the question and put them into your answer where you think it should go. So in, let's say, 10-15 minutes when we get down a break, I'll come back to you and see, are there any of those that you're not sure where to go? Okay? Good. Owen, are you finished this part? Are you onto your balance sheet now?
I have 10 million dollars.
So you've all of this in. Okay, so we'll move on to the balance sheet. Taylor, how are you getting on?
Yeah, good.
So you ready to go to the balance sheet?
I have the balance sheet filled in as well.
So you have all the numbers for that done.
I just don't have working capital.
Okay, so working capital is the number that you get when you subtract the current assets from the current liabilities. Or the other way around, the liabilities from the assets. So if you just follow this.
Liabilities from the assets.
Yeah, so if you just follow the screen this for a second. So you've added all of these numbers together and you get a total. You got add these numbers, you get a total. And when you subtract those two, that gives you your working capital.
Yeah, I haven't added the book yet.
Okay, great. So we'll look at the net profit now in a second, then we'll move on. Okay, Jamie, have you worked out your profit yet? You have it? What number did you get? The net profit here. Okay, you're almost done. So you just give us a shout when you're ready. Are we ready for me to start going through some of the numbers, please? Yep, start into it. So presume you're starting at the top, working your way down. Okay. So premises goes into where? Jamie, can I think of you just for this because you missed some of the class, I think. So premises, where do you put premises?
Would be distributed.
Pardon? No.
Fixed assets.
Fixed assets, okay. We've got three columns there: cost, depreciation, net book value. What number goes into cost? So have a look just for the question, what number do you put into cost? What number do you put into depreciation? And what number do you put into net book value?
You put the 540,000 up first.
That's in cost, okay?
And then you put the 350 in the last one.
The last one, and the difference between the two is what goes into the depreciation. Great, okay? And furniture, I presume we're happy to do furniture in the same way. Okay? Motor vehicles, we have 560 should be cost, and then 28,400 should be in the depreciation column. Okay, to the way that gives you your net book value. Purchase and sales should be straightforward. Okay? Bank charges. Where do you put that?
Financial response.
No, only interest financial expense. Just the charge of having a bank account. So not the cost of a loan. Okay? So it's another expense. What type of expense?
Administration.
Administration. So all general expenses on there. So administration. Okay. Insurance, I presume, should be administration as well. Okay. Where does bad debts go?
Those debtors.
No, provision for bad debts and bad debts are two different things. Provision is a liability, it's a minus against the debtors. Bad debts itself is an expense. Okay, it's the money we've lost out on when somebody goes bankrupt. Okay, provision is anticipating something going bankrupt. Two different things. Okay, where do we put bad debts? What type of expenses? Financial is only interest. So people go bust because people who are trying to sell goods. So I would put it into what you call the expenses for selling goods. distribution. Okay. Now, if you put it into administration, you're not necessarily going to lose marks. You would lose marks if you put it into administration. So, going just through some of the other ones. Commission. Is this commission received or commission allowed? As in an expense? How do you know? So commission is on the debit side, so therefore it's going to be something that we've allowed to see as expense. Alright, so then you just continue on with that. Again, like I said, not doing any math, just try and put the numbers in with them. Okay, so we'll do our maths here then. So I have the figure above. When I had my gross profit here, I'll add it on my other incomes. I now have 3 expenses. I add them together and it gives me my net profit. So I've got the total after the other income was included, take away my expenses, and that gives you the 322,065. So that's our net profit. Okay, there's no tax mentioned, so that means profit after tax is the same number. And that number then we will put in our balance sheet as net profit. We okay? So to finish off this bit, just to see if we can get it balancing, because I think you're close enough to finishing it. So if we just add all of these numbers together, what I have here, so this is finance by, I'll add all the totals of finance by, and I'll have a number that, well, I'm just going to put an X there for now, so that's capital employed. Then up in my fixed assets, I'm going to calculate my net book value for all of them. Add all your net book value together and get a total figure for for fixed assets, which goes there in that column. So I get total for fixed assets, total for current assets, total for current liabilities, and a total for capital employed first. We okay with that? Okay. Off you go. Can we try and calculate that? Are you okay with that, Owen, then?
Bit confusing.
Okay, where are you having issues?
What goes in net assets? Salaries.
Okay, net assets. Working capital, just because you said that a second ago. So I've added up my current assets, added up my current liabilities. I'll take the 2 of them away, and that gives me my net assets. And the net assets added to the fixed assets above. Sorry, that's working capital. Sorry, when I take away the liabilities from the assets, current assets, I get working capital. I'll then add my working capital to the total figure above, which is the total of the fixed assets, and that gives you net assets. Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right. I'll be calculating that now in a second. So I'm just going to start into my fixed assets. So my tangible fixed assets, I subtract the depreciation from my net book value, or from my cost to get my net book value. I'll do the same for all of my fixed assets. And then I'll add on my intangible fixed asset goodwill, and I'll get a total figure. I'll add up my current assets. Add up my current liabilities. And I'll add up my capital employed. So I've added my fixed assets, current liabilities, and my capital employed. Ryan, what do we do next?
Which part of it?
So this is the balance sheet. So I've added up my fixed assets, I've got my current assets, current liabilities, and my capital employed. What's next?
You add to the assets.
Well, I've added all the fixed assets up the top, so I've got that there. I've added all the current assets, okay, and I have a total here. I've added the current liabilities, and I've got a total. What do I do with these two totals?
You take them away.
Take them away. So that gives me my working capital. So 133 minus 67. And then I'll add that number on to the figure above, and that's going to give me my net assets. Now, is the question right? How would you know if I'm right or wrong?
Numbers match up.
Okay, which numbers?
More assets and capital employed.
Yeah, so the two totals should be the same, they're not. Now in an exam situation, like I say, you get very few marks for maths. So you literally spend a minute, 2 minutes of this if you've got the time. So what I generally do is I look and see, I'm going to take the numbers away and find the difference. So 5040, is there something in the question that's 5040? There is. Depreciation of motors, vehicles here is 5040. Did I forget to put that into my accumulated depreciation? And I think I did. So, have a quick look at the question. Question 1. So it says, where's it now? Motor vehicles. Accumulated motor depreciation motor vehicles is 31 grand. I have to add on to the 31 grand the 5040 depreciation. Have I done that? I haven't. And that's where my mistake is. So this is the 31 grand is the figure we had at the beginning, plus the 5040 depreciation for this year, which is the number that I have over here. I forgot to put that in. Okay? So I'll put that in there. So that's 36040. And that should make my balance sheet balance. Okay with that? Now, literally, you spend 2 minutes of that. If it's not working, a common mistake that people might make in the past is I get here and I realize, oh, I've made a mistake, so you stop. So you stop putting numbers in. Every number could be right. We didn't know where my mistake is. All of these numbers down the bottom here were all right. This number was the number that was wrong. Now, if you've done your maths, and even though this number is the wrong number, my only mistake was this one number up here for my depreciation was wrong. That was the only mistake I've made. If I've added all this up with the wrong number, whatever number I get in the total fixed assets will be marked as right. My working capital will be marked as right. my net assets will be marked as right, even though it's not the right number. It's because I made a mistake somewhere else. Is that all right? That's why you don't give up on the question. Is everyone clear enough for that? Okay. So I'm going to upload that. Can you just make sure that you have that in your copies to use, okay, as a template for when you're looking at question 2? Yeah, I'm going to stop the recording.